Part 1. The Forbidden Road. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie silver glow over the dense jungle that surrounded Mark and Sarah's small, beaten-up car. They were two adventurous souls, fueled by curiosity and a thirst for excitement, taking an ill-advised shortcut through the heart of the jungle on their way to a remote camping spot. The jungle had always been a place of mystery, filled with whispered tales of ancient curses and lurking creatures. Locals had long warned of the dangers that lay within, urging travelers to stick to the well-trodden roads. But Mark and Sarah were undeterred, eager to prove themselves as fearless explorers. The jungle seemed alive that night, the rustling of leaves and the chorus of unseen creatures creating an unsettling symphony. Sarah clutched the map tightly, her knuckles white against the worn paper, while Mark gripped the steering wheel with determination. They were following an obscure trail that was said to lead to a hidden waterfall, a spot they had seen only in old photographs. As they ventured deeper into the wilderness, the narrow path grew more treacherous. The trees loomed overhead, their branches interlocking like skeletal fingers, creating an ominous canopy. Sarah's anxiety grew with each passing mile, but Mark remained resolute, insisting that they were on the right track. Part 2. The Vanishing Trail. Hours passed and the jungle seemed to close in around them. The path ahead grew fainter and soon it disappeared altogether. Panic surged through Sarah as they realized they were lost, the dense undergrowth closing in around the car like a living, breathing entity. Mark stopped the car, his expression shifting from determination to concern. The headlights illuminated the thick vegetation on all sides, revealing an impenetrable wall of green. They had no choice but to turn back and retrace their steps, hoping to find the trail they had lost. But as they attempted to reverse the car, an unearthly wail echoed through the jungle. The sound was unlike anything they had ever heard, a mournful cry that sent shivers down their spines. Sarah's hands trembled as she clutched Mark's arm, her eyes wide with fear. "What was that?" she whispered. Mark's face had paled. "I don't know, but we need to get out of here." As he tried to turn the car around, the headlights illuminated a fleeting glimpse of something monstrous and unnatural, a twisted figure darting between the trees. It was enough to send them into a blind panic. Part 3. The Relentless Pursuer. With adrenaline pumping through their veins, Mark floored the accelerator, the car's tires screeching as they sped down the jungle path. The haunting cries grew louder, and they could hear something crashing through the underbrush behind them, gaining on their car. Sarah glanced out the rearview mirror and gasped. The creature pursuing them was a grotesque amalgamation of limbs and contorted features, its eyes glinting with malevolence. It moved with unnatural speed, its grotesque form seeming to shift and twist as it pursued them relentlessly. Mark swerved the car, attempting to shake off their pursuer, but the creature clung to their trail like a relentless shadow. The jungle seemed to close in around them, the trees closing off escape routes, and the path ahead growing ever narrower. In their desperation, Mark veered off the path, plowing through the underbrush. The car jolted and bounced as it careened off roots and rocks. Sarah's heart raced as she clung to her seat, but the creature continued to pursue them, unhindered by the obstacles. Part 4. The Haunting Revelation. As they burst through the undergrowth into a small clearing, the car came to an abrupt halt. Mark's breath caught in his throat as he realized they had reached the edge of a sheer cliff. Beyond it, the jungle stretched out into the abyss, the canopy of trees fading into darkness. With no other option, Mark killed the engine, and they both tumbled out of the car, their hearts pounding. The creature drew closer, its grotesque form emerging from the shadows. In the dim moonlight, they could now see its twisted features more clearly. It was a ghastly apparition, part human and part beast, its limbs elongated and its skin pallid. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence as it advanced upon them. Mark and Sarah backed away, their fear turning to despair as they realized they had reached a dead end. With nowhere left to run, they clung to each other, their voices trembling as they whispered their goodbyes. The creature loomed over them, its grotesque form casting an eerie shadow. But just as the creature was about to strike, a blinding light erupted from the depths of the cliff. The ground shook, and a deafening roar filled the air. The very jungle itself seemed to rebel against the monstrous intruder. Part 5. Escape from the Abyss. The ground beneath the creature's feet crumbled, and it let out a final blood-curdling scream as it was swallowed by the abyss. Mark and Sarah watched in awe and terror as the jungle swallowed its tormentor, the blinding light receding as quickly as it had appeared. With the threat gone, they dared to approach the edge of the cliff, peering into the darkness below. To their astonishment, they saw a network of ancient, overgrown tree roots stretching down the cliffside like a natural ladder. It was as if the jungle itself had come to their rescue. Without hesitation, they began their perilous descent, their hands and feet finding purchase on the gnarled roots. The moonlight guided their way as they climbed down into the abyss, the jungle's secrets and horrors left behind. Part 6. The Return to Reality. Hours later, as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Mark and Sarah emerged from the jungle, battered and exhausted, but alive. They had survived the nightmarish ordeal, their encounter with the grotesque creature forever etched into their memories. As they stumbled back to civilization, their minds raced with questions and doubts. What had they encountered in the jungle? Had it been a malevolent spirit, a guardian of the forbidden paths? Or had they stumbled upon an ancient curse, a dark force lurking in the depths of the jungle? One thing was certain: they would never forget the horrors they had witnessed that night, and the jungle would forever be a place of mystery and terror in their minds. The road less traveled had led them to the brink of oblivion, and only by the slimmest of chances had they returned to tell their tale. Please subscribe, or I will haunt you down in your dreams.